Your brain doesn't just cope with pressure, it actively craves it, using every moment of discomfort as a blueprint to forge greater resilience, sharper focus, and unparalleled problem-solving abilities. This isn't some self-help mantra, it's the profound mechanism of brain anti-fragility, a concept rooted in the neuroscience of hormesis, which you will master today. You are about to understand precisely how voluntary exposure to small, controlled stressors activates specific neural pathways in your prefrontal cortex, enhancing everything from your problem-solving capabilities to your emotional regulation. You will learn the science of hormesis, where microdosing discomfort triggers powerful adaptive responses, dramatically increasing your neuroplasticity and fundamentally rewiring your brain to reduce threat perception. The core principle here is beautifully counterintuitive. What doesn't kill your brain literally makes it stronger. Our brains, just like our muscles, are designed to grow under appropriate load. When you deliberately introduce a small stressor, be it a novel cognitive challenge, a brief moment of physical discomfort, or even a nuanced social interaction outside your comfort zone, your brain doesn't just endure it, it initiates a sophisticated series of adaptive responses. Consider the work of Matson and colleagues from 2008, whose research illuminated how mild, recurrent stressors, such as intermittent fasting or engaging in complex cognitive tasks, actually trigger beneficial cellular and molecular adaptations in the brain. These aren't just short-term fixes, we're talking about fundamental changes. Think of it like this: when a small stressor hits, your neurons don't panic. Instead, they activate survival circuits. They upregulate genes involved in neuroplasticity, enhance the production of neurotrophic factors like brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which is essentially fertilizer for your brain cells. This leads to new synaptic connections, stronger existing ones, and even the birth of new neurons in regions critical for learning and memory, like the hippocampus. This process isn't just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. It's about building a neural architecture that is not merely resilient but anti-fragile, meaning it improves and strengthens with every challenge it faces. This scientific insight reveals that your current approach to daily work and problem-solving might be robbing you of your true potential, because you're likely shielding your brain from the very stimuli it needs to transcend its current limitations. Now, imagine your workday before understanding brain anti-fragility. Perhaps you'd encounter a complex project brief, immediately feel a wave of apprehension, and instinctively defer the most challenging parts. You might start with the easiest tasks, delaying the heavy lifting until you feel ready, often leading to procrastination, rushed work, and suboptimal outcomes. You were essentially trying to keep your brain in a comfort zone, believing that minimal stress equaled maximal productivity. But what if that comfort was actively weakening your cognitive capacity? This is where the paradigm shifts entirely. With an anti-fragile brain, your approach to that same complex project transforms. Instead of avoidance, you feel a distinct pull toward the challenge. You actively seek out the most difficult component, knowing that grappling with it for even 15 minutes will not deplete you, but actually prime your brain for superior performance. Think of the student in Carol Dweck's 2006 research on mindset. Those with a growth mindset, who view challenges as opportunities for learning and growth, consistently outperform their peers. Why? Because they willingly engage with cognitive discomfort, and their brains respond by strengthening the very pathways needed to overcome it. Consider these measurable outcomes. Before, a 3-hour deep work session on a novel problem might leave you mentally drained, leading to decision fatigue and reduced output for the rest of the day. After, by deliberately introducing small, escalating challenges throughout your morning, your brain becomes a high-performance engine. That same 3-hour session now feels like a focused workout, leaving you energized, not depleted. Your capacity for complex problem-solving increases by an observable 20 to 30%. Your ability to maintain sustained focus through distractions sharpens, and your recovery time from cognitive errors drops dramatically. Imagine catching a subtle logical flaw in a critical report within minutes instead of hours, or generating a truly innovative solution to a long-standing problem because your brain has been actively trained to seek and integrate novel information under pressure. This isn't just a mental hack, It's a biological upgrade. This mechanism doesn't just prevent burnout, it builds a reservoir of mental toughness and intellectual agility that allows you to thrive under conditions that would overwhelm others. So how do you practically apply this to your daily routine? How do you microdose discomfort to forge an anti-fragile brain? Here are 3 brain-based techniques you can implement today. First, let's talk about micro-challenge stacking. Every morning, before you dive into your routine tasks, identify one tiny, slightly uncomfortable cognitive task that usually gets pushed aside. This isn't a huge project. It's something like spending 10 minutes analyzing a dense data report, attempting to solve a difficult logic puzzle, or brainstorming 5 radically new ideas for a stale project. The method is simple. Commit to this micro-challenge for precisely 10 minutes. No more, no less. Then, immediately transition to a comfortable, routine task. Your brain response here is critical. The initial discomfort signals a demand for resources in your prefrontal cortex, activating neural pathways for focus and problem solving. Completing even a small portion provides a hit of dopamine, reinforcing the behavior. The result? You're not just tackling a backlog, you're priming your brain for sustained effort, reducing procrastination on larger, more daunting projects, and building the neurological habit of facing challenge head-on. Second, implement cognitive load pulsing. This technique directly leverages the principles of hormesis by introducing short, intense bursts of cognitive demand followed by recovery. For a 25-minute block, dedicate yourself to engaging with information that is genuinely complex and outside your immediate area of expertise. Perhaps you pick up a scientific paper on quantum physics or delve into an advanced concept in a field you know little about. The goal isn't mastery, it's exposure to high cognitive load. After 25 minutes, take a structured 5-minute break. Step away from your screen, close your eyes, or simply look out a window. Repeat this cycle 3 or 4 times. This deliberate oscillation between intense mental effort and recovery triggers profound neuroplasticity. The intense phase forces your brain to create new connections and strengthen existing ones to process novel information. The recovery phase allows for consolidation and the integration of these new pathways. The expected result is a measurable increase in your working memory capacity, an accelerated learning curve for new domains, and a brain that becomes more efficient at handling diverse and complex information without feeling overwhelmed. Finally, practice discomfort mapping and reappraisal. How often do you find yourself doing exactly the opposite? This technique requires you to identify and consciously reframe the mental resistance you encounter in your daily work. Take a moment. Consider 3 work situations that consistently trigger feelings of overwhelm, frustration, or a desire to avoid. Now, for each one, consciously rename and reframe it. Instead of "this endless budget review," call it "my weekly prefrontal cortex optimization session." Instead of "that difficult client negotiation," reframe it as "an advanced neural flexibility workout." The specific method involves speaking these reframe aloud or writing them down. This isn't just positive thinking, it's a deep neurological trick. By consciously reappraising the stressor, you shift its processing from the reactive, threat-sensitive amygdala to the rational, problem-solving prefrontal cortex. This reduces the release of stress hormones like cortisol and increases dopamine, which is associated with reward and motivation, even for effort. The result is a profound transformation of perceived threat into a growth opportunity, dramatically reducing emotional drag and increasing your willingness to engage with the very tasks you once dreaded. You are no longer someone who merely reacts to challenges. You are an architect of your own neural growth. You now understand that your brain isn't a fragile organ to be shielded from difficulty, but a dynamic, ever-adapting system that thrives on strategic disequilibrium. You see challenges not as obstacles to avoid, but as precision instruments for sculpting a more powerful, more intelligent, and more resilient mind. This shift, from avoiding discomfort to actively embracing it as a vital nutrient for your brain, is the single most powerful change you can make to your cognitive life. This understanding of brain anti-fragility isn't just about surviving, it's about systematically engineering your own cognitive evolution. You have the operating manual. Now, go apply this knowledge and watch your brain transform. But understand, This is merely the first layer of optimization. There are deeper, more profound mechanisms at play within your neural architecture, awaiting discovery, that can take your productivity, your focus, and your mental endurance to an entirely new dimension. We are just beginning to scratch the surface of what your brain is truly capable of.